Hey guys, welcome from www.itsyourtherapy.com. My name is Tess, and I am here actually today to teach you, educate you, and go on a little rant. And during my rant, I hope that does implement some knowledge of what's really going on in my industry, which is mental health counseling, therapy, psychotherapy, multiple names for this particular topic. However, being a mental health counselor and just seeing what is happening right now in the field of specialized addiction, I just wanted to address this issue. So, as you all are aware, or maybe you're not aware, each year there is a mental health month and day, and there is also an addiction awareness day. And I really just want to encourage everybody to go on those days and stand up for what you believe in and advocate for this, because what is happening in our industry, just to get down to the nuts and bolts of it, is that the insurance companies are doing some really shady things. So the first one is being scrutinizing and being extremely scrupulous and meticulous about all the notes that therapists are writing for their clients. And of course, at the end of the day, all therapists want to do are to help the client, to really advocate for the client, to be there for the client, to, in the time that they have, in the 45 minutes to an hour session that they get, to do the work. And this is out of several hours in a week. You only get that one session, that 45 minutes to an hour session. So it's paramount that the time spent is really valued by not only the patient, but the therapist is using their time wisely and really getting to like the nooks and crannies of things, allowing the client to process, which really doesn't have a time limit. There's no real explicit time frame that a client can process grief, for example. It really depends on the level of grief, or trauma, for example. It depends on how much trauma, if it's complex trauma, if it's just some distressing memories. So really, therapy needs to be individualized, and it's not. It's really just insurance companies are cracking down on, are you using the empirical validated evidence? And as much as I want to say that all my modalities that I use and all the interventions I use are empirically validated, that to me is so limiting. And so I don't always use empirically validated modalities. I go above and beyond, and I try to get ahead of that game. So before it's been tested and before it's been empirically validated, I'm using the skills and techniques and the intuition and the attunement that I have with the client, and constantly educating myself. But I'm thinking on the edge. I have pioneer thinking. I'm not waiting for science to prove what I'm doing is right, but I know that I know in intuition, deep within myself, what I am doing is directing this person here or there. And yes, is it trial and error a lot of times when you're working with a client? Absolutely. People are so complex, you're not going to figure them all out in one session or over weeks. I mean, only you, the client, actually knows yourself more than anyone else. And a lot of times you don't know. And it's the therapist's job to kind of point some of these things out that she's noticing or he's noticing. But at the same time, it's you that knows whether or not you're being interpreted correctly. You are your truth. You have the answers. And it's just our job to help you pull that out of you. But of course, that takes willingness on your part. And there's just so many factors. But anyways, this video is really just to teach you about what's going on with the insurance companies, and to also help you understand the value of therapy. If you have not gone to therapy before and you may think that you need it, the probability of you needing it is definitely high. And I say that because I need therapy. Everybody needs therapy. Everyone can benefit from therapy. And whether or not it's something up high on your list or not, I mean, that's obviously up to you. But, it's kind of like if you've never tried fish and then you try fish and you love fish and you're like, wow, I'm missing out on this my whole entire life. Fish is so amazing. Wow, I love this orange roughy. Or tomatoes, all your life you've snuffed your nose to it and you're like, I don't want tomatoes. And then one day you try tomatoes and you're like, wow, I love tomatoes. And I use those examples because there's actually examples in my own childhood that I snuffed my nose at them for probably the earliest years of my life for a while until I tried them later in like my teen years and was like, wow, these are really healthy. Like at the time I didn't want them, but now I love them, and I'm so glad that I incorporated them into my life, and then I gave that a shot, that I gave that, a trying shot. So anyways, again, this is really a rant about insurance companies. And for example, Cigna, let me just shout them out. They are going against really, I think, what is justice in our nation, in our country, to people in general, whether or not they live in the country, U.S., which is where I'm from. They are paying these treatment centers a bunch of money, and then they are trying to extrapolate scrupulous details from the documentation of these therapists that have only so much time in the day and have to practice self-care and model that to their clients as well. And at the end of the day, they are still taking money back. So imagine like someone gives you an entire salary for an entire year, and then at the end of the year says, you know what, we didn't like this or this or this or this or this, and so we're just going to take all that money back that we gave you. How is that fair? How is that even lawful? I mean, it's outrageous because now all these addiction treatment centers are going down, and we are not showing the love and the energy and the care that the individuals with these mental health issues, with the addictions and substance use disorders really need. And what if we keep on this trajectory, what do we have to offer them at the end of the day? Are they going to even have treatment available to them? I mean, what is our options if we continue down this path? And so I really just challenge you guys to reach out, whether it be on Facebook or other social media accounts, or even on your own YouTube channels, or even in this messaging below, and responding to, what are your thoughts on this? What do you think needs to be done about insurance companies? Can we just let them get away with murder? Literally? I mean, because that's what's going to happen to all these people with mental health disorders and substance use disorders, addictions. We're just, all mental health is just, all the people that need treatment are not going to receive it because we're going to allow insurance companies to get away with this? Or what do you think? What do you believe? What could be a call to action? What are your solutions? I would love some ideas. I would love to get on board with some of you if you have ideas, or start something of my own, because I don't want them to get away with this, and I don't think it's fair. And I do care about every single individual life that is especially trying to get help, trying to better themselves and figure out what's going on with them, and who are really struggling with some of these deep-rooted issues, such as mental health and addiction. So thank you so much for your time and listening. Feel free to comment below. Subscribe if you like the content of mental health, because that's what I do on this channel, everything mental health. And I am totally excited to see what your guys' ideas are and what you have to say. And to your mental health,